Good morning. Today we will study the topic graphs. So graphs are discrete structure consisting of vertices and edges. And what is a graph? We have already seen a part of graph, that is digraphs or directed graphs, in the topic relations. And also we have seen the concept of directed graphs being used in Hasse diagrams. So problems in almost all subjects related to computer science can be solved by using graph models. Using graph models, we can determine whether it is how many colors are needed to color a map, that is the famous graph coloring problem. Apart from that, we can determine whether two computers are connected by communication link using graph models of computer networks. Graphs with weights or graphs with some value given on the edges can be used to solve the problems like shortest path between two cities in a transportation network. We can also use graphs to schedule exams and assign channels to television stations. So this chapter or this topic will introduce the basic concepts of graph theory and present many different graph models. And we will be using graphs then to solve many different types of graph algorithms. So let's begin. So first, the introduction of graphs. What are graphs? So basically, when we are defining graphs and when you come across the term graph, you remember your plot, or whenever we in mathematics class, whenever we say the word graph, you think of a plot or a chart or a graph sheet, that is where you have the coordinate system, x-axis and y-axis. But that will not be our definition of graphs in this subject. Here, this definition, that is a plot or chart of numerical data using a coordinate system, is not the correct definition. In our subject, the technical meaning of graph will be a particular class of discrete structures to be defined that is useful for representing relations and has a convenient web looking graphical representation. So it will be similar to a web, that is it will have points and those points will be connected by the edges. Now, where are we using graphs? As I've already mentioned, graphs can be used in almost all the fields of computer science and information technology, that is to represent relations. And apart from relations, we can use it even in functions to represent a relation between x and y, and similarly in networks to schedule, optimization, circuit design, and planning of paths or routes. Apart from that, we even use graphs in genealogy analysis, that is to determine a family tree, computer game playing, program compilation, and even in object-oriented design. Now, first we will look at the definition of the basic definition of a graph. A graph G is equal to V, E consists of V, a non-empty set of vertices, or they are also known as nodes. So any graph will have two two basic terminology, that is it will have a set of vertices and also a set of edges. So G is equal to VE is the commonly used form of representing a graph. So whenever you are writing G is equal to VE, it means that G is a graph with a set of vertices V and a set of edges E. Each edge has either one or two vertices associated with it. That is, if we have an edge, as we have seen already, we can have one vertex associated with it. Suppose if we have an edge A, then if we create a loop on it, it is simply connected to itself. Or else, if we are connecting two distinct vertices, A and B, then we can represent it in this way. So each edge has either one or two vertices associated with it, called its endpoints. So these will be the endpoints. These vertices are known as the endpoints, or even we can call them as initial vertex is A and terminal vertex is B if it is a directed graph. Or otherwise, if there is no direction, then it will be simply endpoints. An edge is sent to connect its endpoint. So now, because we are not studying directed graph, so we will simply talk about endpoints. So if this is 1, 2, 1 and 2 are endpoints, and this is the edge connecting 1 and 2. Now, a graph with an infinite vertex set is called an infinite graph. So we may have infinite number of vertices, then that graph is known as infinite graph. And a graph with finite vertices is called a finite graph. When we are studying, we will usually consider only finite graphs. Now we will study the different types of graphs. So before that, suppose if we are considering a network, so there is a network which is made up of data centers. So suppose if we are considering a few cities, and those cities are connected by data centers, and there is a communication link between the computers in that data center. We can represent the location of each data center by a point. So suppose if we have the cities Hyderabad and Secunderabad, and there is a network that we are creating between these two cities, and if we have a data center in Hyderabad and a data center in Secunderabad, then what we can do is we connect them by an edge, that is this shows the connection between these two cities computers. The computer network can be modeled by using a graph in which the vertices of the graph, these vertices are representing your data centers and edges represent the communication link. So this edge is the communication link while the vertices are the data centers. In general, we visualize graphs by using points to represent vertices and line segments to represent edges. And the line segments, it is not necessary that we use a straight line. We can also connect these 2 points by a curved line. To represent edges, where the endpoints of a line segment representing an edge are the points representing the endpoints of an edge. Now, when we draw a graph, we generally try to draw the edges so that they do not cross. That is, if we are drawing an edge between this vertex and this vertex, then we try so that these two edges are not crossed. A graph in which each edge connects two different vertices and where no two edges connect the same pair of vertices is called a simple graph. So what is a simple graph? A simple graph is the one in which each edge connects two different vertices and where no two edges connect the same pair of vertices. That is, suppose if we have a loop in the graph, then it is not a simple graph. And suppose if we have two edges in the same graph, then also it is not a simple graph. So let's see an example of a simple graph. So these are the few cities that we have taken and we have created a communication line between these cities. So the cities are connected by a straight line which is an edge, and over here this graph does not have any kind of loop or multiple edges. That is, in between two vertices we don't have more than one edge. So this is known as a simple graph. So this example with these cities is the general example of your textbook. So that is the reason I am considering the same. Graphs that may have multiple edges containing the same vertices are called multigraphs. Now, in between two vertices, if we have multiple edges, that is, in between two cities, if we have multiple communication lines between the same two cities, then it is known as a multigraph. So why do we need multigraph? Suppose if one of the line goes out of work, that is goes out of service, then we may need a backup. So for that reason, we may need multi-line. So multiple edges, then that is known as a multigraph. So look over here, in between Denver and Chicago, we have three communication lines. So that is, three edges are present on the same set of vertices. So this is an example of multiple edges. When there are different edges associated with the same ordered pair of unordered pair of vertices, Then we also say that this edge has a multiplicity 3. So there is a term known as multiplicity. That is how many times on the same vertices are we drawing the edge. So here the multiplicity of this edge is 3. Now after that, the next is graphs that have, so in the previous example we have seen multiple edges. Now what about loops? If the graph has loops and multi edges, then it is known as a pseudo graph. So whenever a graph has both loops and multi edges, then it is known as a pseudo graph. So by now we have seen 3 types of graph. One was the simple graph, then the next one was the multi graph, and now we have the pseudo graph. So if you remember what I said about loop, a loop is basically an edge which connects a vertex to itself. So if we have a vertex A, then the loop will be in this way. We have seen already this in relations and also Hasse diagram. Now the next thing is, let's see an example. Yeah. So over here we have loops on San Francisco, Denver, Chicago, Detroit, Washington, and New York. And also we have multi-edges. So this is known as a pseudograph. Now all the graphs by now that we have seen are undirected graphs. So this was from the beginning. So this has no direction. So this is an undirected graph. The other two graphs were also undirected. But we have also seen the concept of directed graphs and relations. So whenever there is a direction given, then it will be a directed graph. Here, in this case, there are no directions. So these are known as undirected edges. And in the case of directed graphs, we will have directed edges. So by now, let's just summarize. We have seen undirected graphs. All the earlier examples of this topic were undirected graphs. In undirected graphs, we will have undirected edges. That is, the edges won't have any kind of direction. Then we have a simple directed graph. What is the simple directed graph? In this graph, we won't have no loops, no multiple directed edges. No multiple directed edges. That is, in the example of the simple graph, please go back to your simple graph and draw the picture in your notebook. And to that graph, if you give directions, that will become your simple directed graph. Now, before we go further, I will give you the definition of a directed graph. So, a directed graph, or as we know, we call it as a digraph, V, E, consists of V, that is a non-empty set of vertices V, and the edges will be directed. Now, directed edges, what are those? A directed edge is associated with an ordered pair of vertices. That is, if the vertices should be given in order. If we have an edge from A to B, then it should be written A, B, not B, A. That is, the pair of vertices should be written in order. Now, the directed edges associated with the ordered pair A, B is said to start at A and end at B. So, the directed graph will be given in this way. So, this is not a new concept. You have already learned it. I am just giving you the formal definition of a directed graph. Now we know what is simple directed graph. Go back to your simple graph and draw directions in any way, and that will be your simple directed graph. That is, it should not have loops nor multiple directed edges. After that, what is directed multigraph? It will have multiple directed edges, but it won't have loops. So here we will not have loops, but we will have directed edges. And then finally, mixed graph. So in some cases, we may need a graph where some edges are undirected and some edges are directed. So there might be a graph where there are undirected edges and directed edges. Then that kind of graph is known as a mixed graph. For example, a mixed graph might be used to model a computer network containing links that operate in both directions and other links that operate only in. Now let's see an example of simple directed graph. So here this is an example of simple directed graph where we don't have loops or multiple edges, but on the edges we have been given a direction. After that, this is the directed multigraph, that is we have multiple edges but no loops, and there are directions on the multiple edges. Now after that, we will summarize what we have studied till now. So keeping in mind this, we have to remember that in your reference textbook, this is the terminology used, while other authors may use some other terminology. But for now, you can remember this table. So if you have a simple graph, it will be undirected. Does it have multiple edges? No, it won't have multiple edges, and there will not be any kind of self loops in the simple graph. So no multiple edges are allowed and no self loops are allowed. What about multigraph? In the multigraph also, it will be undirected graph. In the multigraph, we will have multiple edges, as the name itself suggests. It will have multiple edges, but it won't have any self loop. And the next is pseudograph. In the case of pseudograph, we will have undirected graph again. So these graphs in which there is no direction mentioned or the word directed mentioned, it will be undirected, except for mixed graph. In mixed graph, we will have both directed and undirected edges. So pseudograph is also undirected, but it will have multiple edges and it will also have self loops. Now the next term is directed graph. Directed graph, obviously the name itself suggests it is directed. And does it have multiple edges? No. What about self loops? It may have, in the case of, there is a mistake over here. It won't have self loops, no self loops. And the next is directed multigraph. In the case of directed multigraph, it will have multiple edges and self loops also. Then the next is, here if it is a simple directed graph. Now one more thing. If you remember your digraph, it is simply directed graph, and in this it will have multiple edges. Yeah, this is a bit confusing, but it will have multiple edges and it will have loops. If it is simple directed graph, then it will not have multiple edges, it will not have self loops. And the next is directed multigraph. It will have multiple edges, it will have, so basically your digraph is your directed multigraph. And then finally you have mixed graph. Yeah, there are a few changes in the table, so better refer to the textbook table. I'll forward it to you while I give the notes. So in this table there are a few changes. So these are the changes. My mixed graph, you have to add, it is both directed and undirected. And also in the case of mixed graph, multiple edges is allowed and also self loops are allowed. Then the next thing is graph terminology. So in the case of in this topic, graph terminology, we will study a few basic terms that we use in graph theory. So one such, we will study a few terms, and also we will study what kind of formulas will we be using in graphs. So the first and foremost is the vertices and edges in the case of undirected graph. Two vertices U and V in an undirected graph G are called adjacent or neighbors if in G, if U and V are endpoints of an edge of G. So basically, if we are taking two edges, so let me denote edges by this, and if we are taking these two edges, then these two edges are known as adjacent or neighbors. Both are the same terms. They will be adjacent or neighbors if they are connected by an edge. If they are connected by an edge, then they are adjacent or neighbors. If E is associated with U comma V, what is here E over here? E is the edge. Okay. If E is associated with U comma V, the edge E is called incident with the vertices U and V. So if this is your edge E and these are the vertices U and V, then E is incident to U, that is E is connected to U and E is connected to V. The edge E is also said to connect U and V. So basically incident and connect are almost similar. Now the vertices U and V are called endpoints of an edge associated with U comma V. So these vertices are also known as endpoints. Now the next thing is, how do we keep a track or how do we know how many edges are connected or are incident to a vertex? So for that we have this definition. The degree of a vertex in an undirected graph is the number of edges incident with it, except that a loop at a vertex contributes twice to the degree of a vertex. The degree of the vertex V is denoted by DEG of V. Okay. So now, what is this degree? The degree is basically how many edges are connected to a vertex or incident to a vertex. So it is better to use the term given in the definition as it is and not to change the definition. Except that a loop at a vertex contributes twice to the degree of a vertex. Okay. So if we have a loop, then we will count the degree. We will add 2 to the degree of that vertex. Now let's see how are we supposed to calculate the degree. So what are the degrees of the vertices in the graph G and H displayed below? Okay. So over here in G, how many edges are connected to the vertex A? So let me write all the degrees as follows. So first we will write so degree of A, how many edges are connected to A? There are 2 edges connected to say A, so degree of A is 2. Now what about degree of the next vertex B? So the degree of B, please calculate how many edges are connected to B. So this is one, this is the other one, this is another, and this is another. So totally 1, 2, 3 and 4. Totally 4 edges are connected to B, so degree of B will be 4. Now, what about degree of C? So the degree of C, if you notice, is also equal to B. So from here, 1, 2, 3 and this one again is 4. So degree of C is 4. What about degree of D? So the degree of D is only connected to one vertex. So degree of D is 1. I am going in alphabetical order. You can go in any order that you like. After that, we have degree of E. I am writing it over here. E is again connected to 1, 2 and 3 vertices. So degree of E will be 3. After that, we have degree of F. F 1, 2, 3 and total 4. So 4 vertices. And then finally we have the vertex G also. The vertex G is in the same graph, but it is not connected to any edge. So degree of G will be 0. Okay. If there is no edge connected or if there is no edge incident to the vertex, then the degree will be 0. Okay. Now this we have completed the graph G. What about the graph H? So in the case of graph H, let's write all the vertices degree of A, B, C, D and E. Okay. For now, let's start with A again. So for the degree of A, how many vertices are connected? This will be 1, 2, 3 and 4. So degree of A is 4. Now for degree of B, I'll start from here 1, 2, 3, 4 and after that we have a loop. So for a loop we should add 2. So plus 2, 4 plus 2, so this will be 6. Okay. Whenever we have a loop, the degree should be considered as 6. Now what about the degree of C? So for the degree of C, let's calculate. So before that, let me Yeah. Yeah, for C, let's see, these are the two edges, 1, 2, then this is the third one, then we have 4, 5 and 6. So degree of C is also 6. What about the degree of D then? So I am writing it directly, but what you can do is, you can calculate it. So degree of D is 5, while the degree of E will only be 1. How it is over here? 1. So degree of E is 1. Now, I hope you understand, because this is a very important 2-mark answer and very simple to calculate actually. So degree is basically the number of edges incident with a vertex, and whenever you have a loop, you have to add 2. So instead of taking 1, you will take 2, because it is starting at that vertex and ending at that vertex. So for a loop, you will take 2. Now the next thing is the handshaking theorem. So basically, what is the handshaking theorem? If G is equal to U comma V, let G is equal to U comma V, or basically whenever we have, it is always better to take let G is equal to V comma E, vertices and edges, be an undirected graph with E edges, okay, small e number of edges, then 2E is equal to V belongs to V, degree of V. So basically, suppose if we have how many edges, example, how many edges are there in a graph with 10 vertices, each of degree 6. So if there are 10 vertices, each of degree 6, so what you are supposed to do is, 2E is equal to, how many vertices do we have? 10. So 6 into 10, right? Each has 6 you have to add 10 times, or you can even multiply it. So 2E is equal to 6 into 10, then E will be 30. Now better, this example is a bit complicated, so let's take a simpler example. Suppose in a graph, I have 3 vertices and each has a degree of 2. Okay, how many edges will we have? The question is how many edges. So we can do it directly in this way. 2E is equal to 3 into 2. So E will be 3. So what is the example of this graph? The example of this graph is here, most basic triangle. So if we have 3 vertices A, B, C, and each of them is incident to 2 edges. So A's degree will be 2, B's degree will be 2, and C's degree will be 2. Now how many edges do we have? We have only 3 edges, correct? So 2E is equal to 3 into 2, E is equal to 3. So this is the simplest example to understand the handshaking theorem. And please change it, let G is equal to V. Now we will look at some definitions for directed graph. When U comma V is an edge of the graph G with directed edges, that is, there is a direction on the edge, U is said to be adjacent to V and V is said to be adjacent from U. The vertex U is called the initial vertex and the vertex V is called the terminal or the end vertex of U comma V. The initial vertex and the terminal vertex of a loop are the same. So in the previous definition for undirected graph, these instead of initial and terminal vertex, we call them endpoints. Okay. So but here, since we have directed graph, we call them initial and terminal vertex. While in a loop, the initial vertex and the terminal vertex are the same. Now the next thing is, because the edges in graphs with directed edges are ordered pairs, the definition of a degree of vertex will be different from the undirected graph. So here, in the case of degree of vertex, in a graph with directed edges, the end degree of a vertex V is denoted by, so instead of one single degree, we have 2 degrees in the case of directed graph. One is in degree and the other is out degree. Okay. Now what is an in degree and what is an out degree? In degree, it is denoted by the symbol minus. So above the degree symbol, we will write a superscript minus symbol. It is the number of edges with V as their terminal vertex. That is, If the vertex V is the terminal vertex, then it will be calculated in the in degree. While the out degree of a vertex V, denoted by degree of plus, it is the number of edges with V as their initial vertex. Now we will see an example. Find the in degree and out degree of each vertex of the following graph. So first we will take the in degree. In degree, as I said, will have a minus symbol. Now, how many vertices for A are the where A is the terminal vertex? So in this case, let's see. For this graph, A, this is one. A over here, this edge is going, and or else let's better write the pairs of all the edges. So we have A comma B. This will be simpler actually. A comma B, A comma C, and then we have only two edges going from A. Okay. After that we have from B. Do we have an edge from B to A? No. The next will be B comma B, and then we have B to C. So B comma C and B comma D also. What about B comma E? There is no B comma E. Okay. Now, after that, what about B? Next, we will proceed with C. With C, we have C comma A, and C comma B does not exist. C comma C is also not there. Next, we have C comma D. After that, let's go with D. So we have D to A, D comma A. Then D comma B is not present. Next we have D comma C, no D comma D, and no D comma E. After that, for E, we only have one, which is E comma B, and with respect to F, we don't have any edge. Now in degree of A will be how many edges are having the letter A or the vertex A as the terminal vertex. So this and this. So in degree will be 2. Now in degree of B, for B, how many vertices, how many edges have the terminal vertex as B? So there is only one, and also we have to consider one from the loop. Okay. So whenever we have a loop in the undirected graph, we usually add 2. But in the case of directed graph, we have to add to in degree 1 and to out degree 1. So this is one E comma B. Okay, B is the terminal vertex, and in B comma B also B is the terminal vertex. So 2. After that, in degree of C, in degree of C is how many edges have their ending vertex as C. So for the C, we will see A comma C is 1, B comma C is also there, D comma C is also there. Any other? No. So in degree is 3. Then next one is in degree of D. For D, how many edges are ending at D? So one is B comma D and one is C comma D, so 2. The next is in degree of E. For E has only one edge which is going from E, not ending, so it is 0. In degree of F is also 0. For F there is no edge at all, so in degree and out degree both will be 0. Now here I will try to do out degree. So out degree of A, how many edges have A as their initial vertex? So we have 2 edges, so out degree is 2. Similarly for B, how many has B as their initial vertex? We have 3. One is B comma B, the other is B comma C and B comma D. So 3. As I said, for a loop, you have to take one in the in degree, one in the out degree. So we have taken one over here, one over here. Now the next is degree of C, out degree of C. So for C, the initial vertex C is for CA and CD, so 2. Next we have out degree of D. For D, we have 2 again, DA and DC, so it will be 2. For E, out degree is 1, and finally for f again it will be same, that is out degree and in degree is the same for f, which is 0. Now apart from this, let's take another example, because this is also an important question. Let's take another example. Now this is another example. Now for this example, what we will do is we will try to find the in degree and the out degrees. So in degree for A will be, how many vertices have A as their terminal vertex? So for loop we have to take 1. This will be the other, this one. It is going in this way. And then 1 and 2. So in degree will be 2. Similarly, try to find all the in degree and out degree. I'll just give the values so that you can do it by yourself. In degree for B is 2, for C is 3. You have to write it in this notation. Now I'm just writing it in this way. You can write it. You can verify your answers. In degree of D is 2, E is 3, and F is 0. Similarly, for the out degrees, the values I am giving. So let's see the out degree of A actually. A is the beginning vertex for this one, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So out degree of A will be 4. For B it is 1, C is 2, D is 2, E3, F0. Now this is a very, very important question, and it is important for your final examination. Very simple actually, so please try to practice it. This is your F vertex, I did not mention it. This is the vertex F. Now after that, there is a theorem that if G is equal to V comma E be a graph with directed edges, then the total number of edges will be equal to the summation of the degrees of vertices V and the in degree and the out degree. That is, the number of edges will be equal to the summation of either in degrees or the summation of out degrees. What you can do is, with the previous example, you can verify this theorem. The proof is not important, just the theorem statement. Now after that, we have some graph terminologies that we have studied. We know what is adjacent, connects. Adjacent is when a vertex U is adjacent to V, it means it is connected by an edge. What is an endpoint? In an undirected graph, if two vertices U and V are connected, then this U and V are known as endpoints of the edge E. Okay. Now what is a degree? The degree of a graph is basically calculated as the number of edges incident with a vertex. Now what are initial vertex and a terminal vertex? Initial vertex and terminal vertex are the concepts of directed graph. That is, in the case of directed graph, the edge, if it is starting from edge, the vertex U, this is known as initial vertex, and if the edge is ending at V, then this is known as terminal vertex. After that, we have seen the concept of in degree and out degree. In degree is denoted by degree of superscript minus V. Out degree is denoted by superscript plus V. In degree is basically when the edge is coming into the vertex. That is, when your vertex is the terminal vertex. So for in degree, we have to take the terminal vertex, for which edge your vertex is the terminal vertex. For the out degree, you have to consider the initial vertex, so for which edge your vertex is the initial vertex. Now we will see a few topics which are complete graphs, cyclic graphs, wheels, n cubes, etc. So for that, let's proceed further. Yeah, before that, again, in an undirected graph, we know adjacent, neighbors, connected, the same concepts again. So this is an summary slide, so just look into it. And similarly for, these 2 points are important. The degree of V is the number of incident edges, and anytime we get it loop, we count twice. A vertex with degree 0 is called isolated. This is important. A vertex with degree 0 is called isolated. A vertex of degree 1 is called pendant vertex. Okay. So both of these are quite important. So just remember that. A vertex with degree 0. So in our example, yeah, we took F, the vertex G, the degree was 0. So this is an isolated vertex, and degree for the vertex D, it had only the degree as 1, so it is a pendant vertex. Now after that we have seen the handshaking theorem. Then for directed graphs we have seen U is adjacent, initial vertex, terminal vertex. So these are basically summary slides. You can pause the video and note down. After that we have complete graphs. For any n belongs to n, a complete graph, suppose here n, the number of vertices in a graph is a natural number, a complete graph on n vertices, kn. So complete graphs are denoted by the notation kn. This is very important because sometimes in the question you won't be given the word complete graphs. Instead of that you will be given the notation kn. Kn is a simple graph, that is, it won't have direction and it won't have loops or multi-edges, and with n nodes in which every node is adjacent to every other node. Now what does this statement mean? Suppose if you have 4 nodes in your graph, then every node will be connected to every other node. So if A is there, A will be connected to B, C and D. Okay. And B will be connected to A, B will be connected to C, D will be connected to D. What about C? C is connected to A, C is connected to B, C should also be connected to D. Similarly, D should be connected to A, B and C. Whenever every vertex is connected to every other vertex, then it is known as a complete graph. So these are the examples. Now what this n denotes is the number of vertices. K1, it has only one vertex, it is not connected to anything because there are no other vertices. K2, we will have 2 vertices, and K2 it will be connected to the other vertex. K3, we will have 3 vertices, and if we name it as A, B and C, A is connected to B, C is connected to AB and so on. Similarly, I have connected the K4, K5, K6. Okay. Now how many edges will be there in a complete graph? In the case of complete graph, we will have n into n minus 1 by 2 number of edges. Okay, this is a note that whenever, so suppose if we have in the case of 1 into 1 minus 1 by 2, so 1 into 0 by 2, zeros, there are no edges. Then for this K2, we will have 2 into 2 minus 1 by 2, only one edge. Similarly, you can check for all the following. So Kn has n into n minus 1 by 2 edges. After that, we have cyclic graph. For any n is greater than 3, a cycle on n vertices Cn is a simple graph where V is equal to V1, V2 and so on up to Vn, and E is equal to V1, V2, V2, V3, and that is, if we have for a cyclic graph, the condition is the number of vertices should be equal to or greater than 3. In that case, if we have suppose 4 vertices, then this is vertex V1, V2, then these two should be connected, and then V2, V3 should be connected, V3, V4 should be connected, and then again finally the last vertex with the initial vertex, the terminal vertex with the initial vertex. That is, it should form a cycle, a closed loop. Now, how many edges are there in Cn? In Cn, the number of vertices we have will be equal to the number of edges. Okay. So if we have 3 vertex, we will have 3 edges, 4 vertex, 4 edges, 5 and so on. Now the next thing is wheels. For any n greater than or equal to 3, a wheel Wn is a simple graph obtained by taking the cycle Cn. So we can take our earlier cycle, and what we should do is we should add an extra vertex in the center, and that extra vertex should be connected to all the other vertices. Okay, so this is considered as a wheel. So basically we are adding an additional vertex to the cycle, and this new vertex should be connected to all the other vertices of your graph. So here W3 will have 4 vertices, and if you look over here, we have how many edges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Similarly, in W4 we will have 8. In W5 we will have 10. So basically there will be 2n edges in Wn. How many edges are there in Wn? We will have 2n edges in Wn. Okay.